21, 5'9", a little bit of a height.
With a record of 8 wins, no losses, 6 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the undefeated Omar El Relámpago Juarez. And a referee in charge now to give instructions.
Tournaments with his uncles, a whole bunch of his uncles, one by one. His uncles, because they're older, they started retiring, Joe and Lennox, which led to the nickname the Lone Wolf. After a while, he was the only guy still going into those tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
You ready? You ready?
Well, he is a tough guy.
Oh, yep.
Omar did.
Amateur wrestling standout, again placed in the Nationals. That makes him an All-American, 2-time state champion. Difficult transition as he fires out a right hand there on Juarez. Going from wrestling to boxing. Juarez is much more of a classical boxer. Again, 21-0, standout amateur, 4-time national junior amateur champion. And I think things are going to come much easier to him in the ring. But as you mentioned, Linger, lunging forward, will throw his hands.
Oh, he will. Look, I watched tape on him. He fought one of a kid that I used to train, Maurice Lee, who was 12-1-1, and it was a nip and tuck fight. And believe me, Linger thought he won that fight, and a few other people did. But all I know is that Maurice Lee was very athletic, and he went in there and did a job and threw a lot of different types of punches. He's a tough guy.
We've seen Juarez before a number of times, and he used to come out when he was fighting 4-rounders, just come out, Lennox, and just try to blow guys out. He's trying to box a little more these days.
He is. He said he has to learn, be a bit more patient, and I agree with him. And this fight is being patient, and that's what he's really working on. But he's a puncher that throws power shots. Any one of his punches can hurt you and knock you out.
That is another hard right hand. He's landed 2 strong right hands. Linger obviously has a good jaw. He's able to absorb that, but you can't take too many of those.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sit on the ropes. Linger doesn't want to do that, but he basically called Omar to the ropes by sitting on the ropes, put his hands up high, and tried to counter off with some blocks. That didn't really work, though. He's going to have to go after Juarez.
Yeah, Juarez is just walking him to the ropes there, and Linger's just going to get pummeled if he stays there. He's got to stay out, moves his head nicely there, but absorbed 2 hard, beautiful right hands from Juarez.
Yeah, you're correct. Juarez is, all he has to do is walk him against the ropes and start letting off with his combinations and seeing how Linger really reacts to his punches.
Firing off a couple of hooks there off the right hand, but looking for that right hand. Linger, able to do a few things well.
That's right.
To survive here and get comfortable.
He landed a couple body shots about 20 seconds ago against Omar. Omar's got the speed on him. Omar's got the experience, and he's got the classic style. But you don't underestimate these guys that are, they don't look like much, but they got good pop, and they somehow sneak punches in on you when you least expect it.
Yeah, you can see certainly not as fluid as he misses there with the right hand. Juarez able to get out of the way. I mean, that amateur background is just everything. You might hear us reference that all the time, but you just gain so much experience. And a kid that's had 100 amateur fights is just going to be very different from someone who was wrestling in high school. And Linger was outstanding as a wrestler, but this is not that sport. Final seconds here, round number 1 scheduled for 8, so Linger able to get through round number 1, absorb some good shots from Juarez. The main event is next. Lennox, did you ever meditate like Ugas seems to be?
Yeah, all the time. When I first go in the change room, I just relax, take it easy, and...
Round number 2 here, Omar Juarez in the black trunks. Dakota Linger out of Buchanan, West Virginia in the white. And those were PBC welterweights, if you're wondering, hey, where's this guy, where's that guy? That's why.
That's right.
Yeah. And welterweight, look, it's jam-packed. Suffice to say, Errol Spence is considered to be the best welterweight in the world, but you can make arguments. Terrence Crawford, you can make Manny Pacquiao with the incredible resume, but I think you had a pretty good list there. Yeah. Bottom line, Yordenis Ugas deserves to be up there with the top stars and the better-known stars in that division.
Yeah, it's almost interchangeable, those top, 5 guys, really, tell you the truth. They're all very talented. It's rare you get that great of talent, 6, 7, 8 guys in a row like that in one division. They're all championship material.
It harkens back to the 80s, golden era welterweight, middleweight. And that's saying something. Normally, you try not to say that because
It's true, though.
Yeah, I think it's true as well. And Linger just keeps falling short.
Yeah,
but certainly game.
Yeah, he's falling short because he's trying to throw the right hand. You see where he is? He's up against the ropes trying to throw a right hand at a guy that can step backwards and has so much room behind him to move out of the way.
But he did what I said he would do. He lured Omar into the corner and then countered with a hook off of a block, and then spun out and turned Juarez around. He's no dummy. I mean, Linger is actually a pretty smart kid. Landed 2 good body shots, a right hand, another body shot. So he's...
No, you figured for a tough man, you figured he'd be going in there trying to take a punch. But he's got good defense. He's got his hands up, and he doesn't like to take punches.
That's right.
Linger did land a good right hand there. Just eats that shot. Hook to the body. Now Juarez gets to fire off his hands. A little bolo work there if they're going to trade. Linger seems to be bucking a little bit on that body shot.
Yeah.
He's getting slowed down.
Omar Juarez landed 2 back-to-back liver shots that Linger felt. And there goes another one. He's going from top to bottom. Hook to the head, then he's sliding back down to the liver. Omar is, and he's doing a great job. Man, he looks strong
tonight.
tonight.
Underneath and fires off, doubles up on the hook. Right hand by Linger. Pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Good punch by Linger there.
That was a good punch. What Omar has to worry about after he finishes his combinations, he has to think defense after.
That's right, Lennox. Get your hands back. Because Linger is countering. He's actually got some cute moves right off the ropes, man. I got to give it to the kid.
And he threw an uppercut in there too, Joe. So there's a little something in his arsenal.
And I got to tell you,
uppercut there from Juarez, but able to throw a little something else out there.
Last thing I'll say is Omar Juarez looks very aggressive tonight. You know, that's a plus when you get to fight back to back.
Good controlled aggression by Omar Juarez. Dakota Linger, though, hanging in. You can see on the left-hand part of the screen where Omar Juarez started to let it fly, Joe, and there's a body shot. Beautiful hook.
Yeah, he did, but you saw Linger come back after the liver shot and throw a right-hand left hook. Look, so he's trying to answer back against Juarez. Juarez just really looks good tonight. You know, he fought just a couple of weeks ago, and that's the benefit of fighting back-to-back. Like I say, you get back in the ring, you feel more comfortable, and he looks really comfortable tonight.
Linger landed 17 punches in the second round. That's the first time a Juarez opponent has landed double-digit punches in a round. So, again, Linger is making the most of it. You can tell he's like pretty late to the game. Gets his head popped right there, but he fires back on 1-2. Lands a right hand and a right hand to the body again on Juarez.
I guarantee his corner told Linger, stop sitting back on the ropes. Go ahead and force this fight. That's where you're going to probably get lucky and get your shots in and push Omar Juarez back.
And he is getting closer to him now and is able to throw that hook. Right hand missed, but the hook landed. Another right hand, and now they fight in the phone booth.
Yeah, this kid's tough. I mean, he's there to throw. He doesn't care. He's fighting in the phone booth. This is the kind of fight he wants to get into because he realized he doesn't really have too much talent, but he's got the power, he's got the grit, and he got the energy to do that.
Wow, vicious uppercut there, and I think it just clipped Juarez, but Juarez, meantime, banging it to the body.
Oh, and he just ran into a left hook by running in with his own right hand. Linger and got clipped with the left hook. He's getting hit with some great body shots as well by Omar Juarez. But I tell you, he's tough. He's absorbing the punishment, and he's coming right back.
Good body shot and another uppercut by Linger. He's landed 2 or 3 of those uppercuts in this fight so far.
Yeah, those are
got
good.
Got a pretty good brawl here against Juarez.
Yeah, what he's doing is coming around to the side and then he's bringing it up the middle, which is good.
Tell you, all that tough man experience. He's also a deputy sheriff. So again, this guy coming up again with his amateur wrestling background, that's a difficult transition. Very few have been able to successfully do both and be successful at both. You know, Bud Crawford was a good amateur wrestler. Kermit Cintron, but now I'm going back 15 years.
Right.
Joe, it is difficult to do. They're just different skill sets, aren't they?
They are, but I think having a good wrestling background is advantageous in boxing because there's a lot of body pushing, a lot of maneuvering, a lot of just the body contact in general, and I think it can pay off. What I don't like is what Linger's doing. He's lunging in with the right hand, and he's continually getting countered, and where he made a great start at pressing for this round, he's now slowed down and backed off a little bit. I'm trying to catch his breath, it looks like.
Yeah, but Joe, wouldn't he be better off fighting boxing tournaments? You know, as a kid?
I mean, look, it would have helped. It's like, if you want to play Major League Baseball, you play Little League. If you don't, you're not going to get the fundamentals early in your life. So, anything you start earlier is better, no doubt.
I mean, that's what we're looking at here. Again, that's the difference. And Juarez is growing up a boxer. Linger did not. And yet, we've got to fight. the lone wolf.
That was a great right uppercut right there he landed, you know.
Juarez and Linger, called the A side. There he is, 8-0, 21 years old. He's the prospect. Dakota Linger is only 25, but he's former tough man, amateur wrestling champion. But he has been able to hold his own in this fight. In fact, power shots are actually pretty close. We'll get the CompuBox numbers for you. But round number 4, you see the overall in favor of Juarez, who just punches much better in combination. But round 4, and Omar Juarez finding himself in a bit of a fight.
Yeah, we're entering the halfway mark of this fight. It's an 8-round fight. But if you remember in the fighter meetings, good counterpunch by Linger. But if you remember in the fighter meetings, Linger said he didn't have a lot of time to get into shape for this fight, and he's not exactly at the top of his conditioning right now. Let's see if that plays a part.
Yeah, it does play a little bit part, but he fights in pockets. Anytime he gets a chance, anytime Juarez is close to him, that's when he's trying to fight, which he should be. But he also needs to move the legs a little bit closer to him.
Mm-hmm. And Lennox, I think, too, Juarez has hit him with some shots that he's wondering, how come this guy's still there, I mean, he's hitting him some pretty flush with some combinations, and Linger's just standing in front of him.
You're right.
Plus, he realizes, he's got 4 rounds to work and try and get him out of here.
Heidi Angelo has a little bit from Dakota Linger's corner. Heidi, what do we have?
That's right. I spoke to Tim Wheeler in the corner, and he told me that they told him they liked how he started that last round. They want him to push Omar Juarez back. They want him to mix it up on the inside, and they said that he's a little bit worried about his gas. They took this fight on a little bit of short notice. He was on vacation before this, so they want him to get in there, throw the jab, and work the right hand off it. Guys?
Ooh, counter right hand and an uppercut as well. Heidi, thank you so much. Wheeler had said that his awkwardness is not a bad thing.
Right.
And when he started training Linger for boxing, he said, well, I want to use his aggression and his awkwardness, to his favor. And it seems like, he's making the most of what he has.
Yeah, Juarez is, relaxed right now. He's doing what he wants to. He can do anything he wants to in this fight, but he's working on his inside game and, slipping punches and trying to get to Linger's body.
And just at the moment you say that, Lennox, and you're right. And Juarez is firing off a 3 or 5 punch combination, but then he eats a solid hook from Linger. So
right.
Linger is always there.
But again, Linger looks like he's taken too many breaks during the round here. He should be keeping the pressure on. And look, this fight's going to end soon enough. And you hate to look back and see that you wasted time where you could have been successful. He's not doing that right now.
Final 30 seconds, round number 4. Again, Juarez is a kid who graduated high school at 16 and went to college. This is a motivated young kid.
Yeah, you can see right now he's just waiting for Linger to commit himself so he can counterpunch him.
Stays and keeps him in the corner. Linger able to move his head just a little bit, make things difficult. Good uppercut, spinning to the side.
Listen to the bell, gentlemen. Listen to that bell.
Doing some pretty good work, chasing Juarez now out of the corner. And that Omar Juarez, though, is busy, outlanding, out-connecting, and in combination against Dakota Linger. But just when Linger starts to get some shots, eat them, he will fire back. Good fight. Skill gap,
number 5.
Experience gap. But again, toughness will take you a bit of the way, and Linger trying to hang in on this fight against the unbeaten Omar Juarez. Round number 5, Brian Kenny, Lennox Lewis, Joe Goosen, along with Heidi Angelo and Marcos Villegas. And you see the punches landed 97-60 overall. Body shots landed, it's 32-25 in favor of Juarez, but it is very close. That's a good hook off the ropes by Linger. Let's go to Marcos Villegas. Marcos, what do you think so far?
So far, it's been a pretty competitive fight. I have Omar Juarez ahead, of course, 39-37, but the herky-jerky style of Linger is working for him at some points on the inside. It's just he tires out and allows Juarez to get his volume up and win back some of these rounds.
It's also
Marcos,
difficult. It's also difficult to take punches and then give back at the same time because it's taken a lot out of you. So Linger's taken a lot of punishment, but he's absorbing it well.
He seems to take a shot, Lennox, and you see right there, he fires back right away, but he fires back with some venom. He's able to fire back hard.
Yeah, I mean, he's not getting hit cleanly. I mean, he's got good defense, and he takes a punch well. So he comes back well, too.
Now they start to slug it out. Juarez landing his shots, but also eating a few shots as he stays closer to Linger.
Yeah, Omar turned southpaw for a second and then ate a right hand in the middle of the transition. So, he should stay right-handed. That's where he's doing his best work, and should use the center of the ring using his jab and distance. He doesn't need to sit in the pocket with this guy. Let him get lucky.
I think you're
like
absolutely
that.
right. And then look at those shots. Yeah, and he puts his hands down too. That's bad form. Look, Marcos gave Linger a round, and I think that's being kind of generous. But you can certainly get your head spun around by anybody, and Linger will do it for you if you give him a chance.
Yeah, this is a situation when Juarez just needs to block the punches and come back with his punch. I think he's not getting hurt. He wants to do this. He doesn't have to box like this. He can keep the fight from a distance, but he's enjoying this type of fight.
Joe, wouldn't you tell him to box a little more?
Well, it's funny. It's funny. Normally, a great liver shot. Normally, I would say no, go in for, the knockout. But with this guy, Linger, because he is dangerous in a sense where he's accurate enough and awkward enough that it would be much easier to box him and still get the same result. You could get a knockout by boxing this guy, but sitting in the pocket, you're giving him a chance. See, like that, right there. You could do that all day. Half step back, counter with a hook and right uppercut. Jab from a distance. You can land anything you want from the outside, and every time Linger jumps in, he gets countered with a left hook.
And I tell you what, Linger looks a little more confident, doesn't he? Right about now, a little more comfortable, even though he's tired, but he doesn't look as outmatched right now.
Right, because he hasn't been hurt. I mean, he's taken Juarez's best punch, and he's still there. So it's given him a lot of confidence to box in this fight.
Good jab landed there by Linger. We are going to go to the corner. We'll keep it right here. Both fighters.
He's doing it because he wants to do it. He doesn't have to. He's not getting hurt. But, there's a good back and forth going on. And, what he's trying to do is we're looking for that perfect punch. It's not going to be there. He has to work for it.
And in his defense, look, he might be a motivational speaker, and he does all these wonderful things for charitable organizations, but he's a fighter.
Yeah.
So he gets in, he's like, oh, this guy wants to fight? I can fight. I'm ready to fight.
Absolutely.
It's just you need a trainer, Joe Goosen, to say, hey, don't do that.
Well,
let's box this guy.
Yeah, I think his father kind of echoed what I had just said a few seconds earlier, which was, look, it's happening again. His dad's seeing what I'm seeing right now. The guy's getting shots in which he doesn't need to be getting in with. He's got too fast of hands, Juarez. He's got good feet. He could still knock him out. Like you said, don't look for the knockout. It'll come. If you keep working from the outside, land your long shots, and be accurate, you can get the same effect instead of offering yourself up to Linger on the inside.
And that's what he's doing right now. You saw just before, able to jab and then step back, jab and step back. He can do that all night.
You still got to be busy, though. Now, just because you're not on the inside, Omar, even on the outside, right there, you got to counter when you step back, just like that. See, but now put a right uppercut behind that, or a right hand behind that hook when you counter stepping back.
Now he turns southpaw briefly and then back over, but now on the inside, and Linger's able to land some shots. Juarez able to stick that jab in on the way out, now fire off a right hand.
And Brian, as you called it,
landed in the last round. Again, that was most for any Juarez opponent. So Juarez is at the very least in the most competitive fight that he has seen so far, and at least the most times he has gotten hit.
Yeah, well, he's put himself in that zone to get hit by a rugged guy on the inside. But, you called it. When he turned southpaw just a second ago, he got countered with the right hand. He's making his own mistakes, and he's not really following the corner's advice, to tell you the truth. And that's Juarez I'm talking about.
Juarez able to touch Linger and then spin out. I wonder if he has it in his game to be up on his toes and just box. It really doesn't seem to be what he does.
Oh, no. Juarez? No, we've seen him do it before. That's how he beat Kevin Shax. I mean, he boxed him and dropped him and stopped him in the 6th round after he dropped him a couple times early.
He was in attack mode in that fight, Joe. And he just came out and blasted Shax early, and then it just went a couple of rounds. No, he didn't look as sharp.
He did first, and then he laid back and he boxed for a while. Then he clipped him coming in with a right hand in the 6th round. That being said, he can box very nicely. He doesn't have to offer himself on the inside. But if he is going to box from the outside, he's got to let his hands go more. Exactly what his father said.
And his hands are down there, too, Joe. That's the most dangerous moment just a second ago. He's got his hands down. He's able to fire back with the right hand, but he can't get cocky against Linger. No question.
Well, you know, sometimes he could be tired of hitting Linger. You know, he's saying he's hitting.
That's right.
But it's not doing anything. That did something. Great body shot.
That hurt. And that was a long left hook to the liver. That was not an inside liver shot.
Almost every round, but he is being made to work here. Dakota Linger only 12-3-2. And then the body shot, brutal.
No,
Linger,
it's on the nose.
very, very tough brutal body shot here, Joe.
Yeah. But if you see the difference of this liver shot, it's not around the elbow, it's inside of it, and boom, he actually turns away from it. It's a long body shot. That's an old school trick right there you don't see too often.
Yeah, but you want to know what was so special about that body shot? Linger was throwing a punch at the same time, and it stopped him.
That's right.
Right, Lennox stopping him cold. Round 7 scheduled for 8, and Dakota Linger looked like he was just totally overmatched early on. But his corner had told us, hey, look, we use his strength and his heart as the nucleus as a fighter. And this kid has a lot of strength and a lot of heart. Let's go to Marcos Villegas. Marcos, any other rounds for Linger?
No, at this point, no. It's been all Omar Juarez. He's just outworking him and landing really the better punches. You know, when I look at these rounds, sometimes when it's really close, I think, you know, who would I rather be in that round? And a majority of these rounds, except for the third round, has been all Omar Juarez. He's just landing the more powerful, more damaging punches.
Marcos, thank you. No, and I think that's the point. Look, we went in thinking Juarez was going to win this fight. It's been Linger's toughness and you know, a few clever moves and sophisticated moves by Linger to actually be in this fight and make a better account than we figured. Doesn't mean that Juarez couldn't be winning every single round, but Linger is making it a good fight and an interesting fight.
He is. Now, Juarez is getting very confident in the way he feels right now. You know, we're in the 7th round. We got one more after this. But if you saw, he just kind of walking in front of Linger with his hands halfway down, halfway up. He's just slipping a little bit like that and countering like that. And just feels very confident. And see, like that, just pulls back a little bit, doesn't use his feet, just his upper body. So he feels like he's got Linger.
Yeah, he's very confident in this fight right now. He's doing what he wants to do. He's practicing different things, and he's looking for that perfect opening. He's waiting for Linger to throw a shot so he can throw a shot and counterpunch him.
Juarez trying to get creative there and able to dip down with the hook. Linger has been very consistent in this fight as well. Pretty sound defensively. Again, considering the arsenal that he's facing in Juarez. Uppercut by Juarez. Right hand, and then had to eat a right hand from Juarez.
Yeah, that was a nice shoulder roll by Juarez. He slipped the right hand, came back with his own short one. He's just feeling real confident right now, like he's in total control, which he is. And I think this is just going to be another fight that he's going to learn from. And that's what it's all about. You know, this is only his 9th fight, and I'm talking about Juarez. And boy, I'll tell you, by the time he has the double amount of fights, you know, 18, 19 fights, he's going to be something really to look for. He's going to be a champ. You can tell.
No question. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Look, it's the 2nd fight in the bubble here, and he's gradually moving up, gaining experience. He was very active before the pandemic. He fought 5 times last year, so he wants to be in there. And this is the type of fight where you're going to learn something.
Time right there.
In the air, get some air into those lungs, because he's pretty gassed. But Joe Goose and Lennox Lewis, his toughness is not in question.
No, not at all. And the thing is that he only had a 17-day notice for this fight, and I think Tim Wheeler said it best in the corner. Look, you got to start throwing the right hand, which he means you need a knockout. He said it's your last round, and he did. He's thrown it twice and he landed it once, but it's going to take a knockout for him to win, and that doesn't seem too likely.
Yeah,
he's a good student, though. I mean, Lennox, you can see that he came out. He's thrown 3 hard right hands chance to
Listen,
he
he listens, but one thing about when he's throwing that right hand, he can't throw it with any indication. He's indicating it before he throws it. And Juarez is, an experienced fighter. He knows it's coming. He can see it coming, and he knows all he has to do is step back and come back with his punches.
Yeah, he's got it locked and loaded like you rarely see at the professional level. I mean, he's got it up there like, here it is.
It's basically saying, yo, come here. I want to hit you with this right hand. You got to stand still. I want to hit you with this right hand.
And yet, look, he has stayed in this fight in a bout that we thought. Look, and I'll be honest, you see, here's a kid who was a wrestler and a tough man out of West Virginia. And he's 12-3. You're thinking, okay,
hey, right over here. Sorry.
Timeout.
I got it.
Tom Taylor. Joe, you can speak to that. You hear the guy coming out of an area that's not known for its boxing, especially given his background. I'm thinking, all right, it's going to be quick work. And Dakota Linger has not been quick or easy work here tonight.
No, I watched the tape of this kid, and like I said, he fought Maurice Lee, who was 12-1-1 at the time. And you could have made a case for him, but he had a lot more time to train for that fight. And so I expected him to put up a good fight against Juarez, and he has tonight. He hasn't, no question. He's not going to win the fight, but he certainly gave Juarez some additional learning experience tonight.
Good body shots there by Juarez. Yeah, the lone wolf has proven quite a bit. His father was in the tough man competitions with him. They both fought together before they all bowed out and left the lone wolf out there. But they've done a good job with Linger here as a professional fighter. And on short notice, he has made a good account of himself against Omar Juarez.
Yeah, Linger looks pretty well spent at this point. He's taken some good shots, and I'll tell you that one great liver shot that can take anything you got left, all of it out of you.
Well, when they look back at this tape, they're going to see a lot of hard shots from Juarez. I said Juarez must have hit him a bunch of times. Thought, this guy's still standing there? Shouldn't he be down? There's a good hard right hand by Juarez. Again, teeing up, and that rocked his world. But Linger is still there. He's got a granite chin.
Yeah, Dakota's a tough kid. Tough.
And see, now Juarez is going for the knockout. Has him in the corner and was teeing off.
He is going for the knockout. Yeah, he is going for the knockout, pal. You're right. I think he'd like to get one more on his record because, right now he's got 4 knockouts in 8 fights.
And here is where Linger's experience as a wrestler, as a tough man, where he does not quit. And there was every reason for him just to get drilled in that corner. He takes 2 hard shots again. Tom Taylor takes a closer look, knowing it's in the final seconds.
Right there, gentlemen.
But Dakota Linger goes the distance. Juarez wanted that knockout, Joe.
He did. And Tom Taylor was there.
We'll still send it to the judges. Let's hear what they have to say with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Eddie Hernandez Sr. scores the bout 80-72. Don DeVergis and Dr. Lou Moret are in agreement. They both score the bout 79-73. All 3 in favor of the winner and still undefeated, Omar El Relámpago Juarez.
Omar Juarez